All right. I think and Joe's in here too. Okay, so I introduced myself already, but David, I haven't had a chance to meet you yet. My name's Nichols. I'm an assistant principal at Topeka West, and Joe is a former grad. So I think we'll start with Joe, if you're ready. Just kind of talk to us a little bit about making your decision to go to Arizona State, and then some things that you have really enjoyed about being there. And then
so it's kind of a funny story. I had a buddy of mine who he has grandparents who live just in the area, and he kind of convinced me to apply, and so I did. And like before I applied, I was on the fence between civil engineering at K-State or architectural engineering at K-State. And like both of those are like somewhat of what I want to do, but not exactly. But Arizona State had this construction engineering program, and it was pretty much right on the dot what I planned to do, what I hope to do. And so I chose to apply there, and then I got in. I got a pretty good scholarship. They usually do good, giving like out-of-state students pretty good money. And once that happened, I was just kind of like, I'll do it. Like, I think I'll be all right. And the funny part is that the buddy of mine who has grandparents there, he decided to not go there. So he kind of just left me on my own, but I was fine. It was perfect. And so once I got there, like the engineering school does a pretty good job of like having this camp thing. It's called E2 camp. And before you even like have classes, you have the opportunity to go to like basically a campsite with a bunch of other engineering students. And you're there for a couple days, and you get to meet a lot of people. And that's really like where I met the friends that I'm with now. And then after that, came back. That I did that before classes started, and then so I knew a bunch of people. And then I came back, classes started. It was pretty nice, pretty fun. One thing that I discovered, which was pretty surprising, is that like your high school teachers, like for me, some of them, they kind of like made it sound like college is just like you're on your own and like in your classes. But like when I got there, it was surprising to me that like how many people are there to help you succeed. And it's just like it's hard to not find someone to help you. And so like if like you just ask and you receive help from professors, teachers' assistants, tutoring centers, there's plenty of those. And then even your peers, like everyone's there to succeed. So like everyone wants to help each other. So like it's really easy to find some help if you need it.
okay. I forgot to mention, if you guys have questions for Joe or for David, you can send me a message and I will unmute you and allow you to ask that question. David, you want to jump in, talk to us about your school?
Sure. About how much time? Just a few minutes to leave time for questions. Is that safe?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. As you already heard, my name is David Mills. I am the dedicated admission counselor for the state of Kansas. So if any of you do run into questions this year, next year, whatever it might be as you look at your colleges, I'm definitely your go-to person when it comes to Arizona State University. And Joe, I'm sorry, I was not the dedicated person last year for Kansas. That was Kristen Burrell. So maybe you worked with her a little bit, but it's great to meet you officially. Great. So yeah, is it possible actually, Laura, for me to share a couple slides? Do you know if I have privileges for that?
Well, Travis, can we make him a co-host?
No, we can't.
Oh, okay, no problem.
If you want to send him to my email real quick, I can pull it up.
No, it's totally fine. I can talk without him. Just thought if it was convenient, but no big deal. So the first thing I'd like to tell you all about Arizona State University is just that it's a lot more than you kind of think at a glance if you just look at our website. We sometimes get a bad rap for being the largest public university in the country. A lot of students get kind of worried about going to such a big school. And the truth is that when you add up all the parts of ASU, we are the biggest. But what they don't know is that we actually have 4 different campuses in the Phoenix metro area in Phoenix, Arizona. And Phoenix is a big city in itself. It's the 5th largest city in the country right now. So basically, it's a large city that we serve. And so in order to be as integrated as possible in that community, we have 4 campuses throughout the Phoenix area. It could be a larger campus like Tempe. That's where Joe's at for construction management and his engineering program. And at Tempe, that's going to feel a lot like the University of Kansas size-wise. It's a pretty big campus feel. But then we also have the downtown Phoenix campus, the West campus, and the Polytechnic campus. And those campuses are all ASU as well. They all have dorms and classes and clubs and things happening, but they're a lot smaller. Anywhere from 4,000 students at West to about 12,000 at downtown. So you could go to ASU and depending on what you study, you could be at a larger campus, you could be at a smaller campus. It's kind of up to you and what you want to study. But we have over 350 majors to choose from. We have over 1,000 clubs and organizations, a lot of great rankings, a lot of great kind of things we're known for across those majors and across those 4 campuses. As well as a lot of great research opportunities. We're a big research school as well. So I would say if you think you might want to go to ASU, or maybe you're thinking I don't want to go to a big public university, check out what ASU has and which majors are at which campus, because you could go to a big school with all those opportunities, but have a pretty small community day to day if you're at one of those smaller campuses. So just know we have a lot of different options. And one of the really cool things about ASU that I love is how accessible we are. As a public university, we really want to be committed to that education and access mission. So we've been able to make the space and the resources at ASU so that any student who meets the academic requirements can be admitted to ASU. Basically what that means is you're not competing against a lot of other people. If you meet the requirements we set out, it's 100% acceptance rate for you. So it's kind of nice not to have to worry about other people. If you've taken the right classes, you have the right GPA, maybe the right test score, maybe the class rank, you have a couple options. We're test optional for a lot of our programs. If you meet the academic criteria, you are automatically admitted. So just so you know, what we're looking at is the 16 core academic classes when you apply that you took in high school. That's kind of like the Kansas Board of Regents kind of core curriculum, but it's like math, science, English, social science, things like that, not PE and some of those other electives. So you have to have those core classes, and then you have to have a 3.0 GPA in those classes, or a 24 ACT, or be in the top 25% of your class rank if your school ranks. But you just need one of those things, GPA, rank, or score. If you have that, it's automatic admission. Now, if you don't have that, you're still considered, but it's not automatic. You go through individual review, and it's a case-by-case basis. So just be aware, it's a pretty straightforward system. There's no essays, no letters of recommendation, or anything like that. It's just your academics. And like Joe, if based on your academics, if you have a good test score, a good GPA, that can really pay off because we automatically award scholarships to our out-of-state students based on their academics. So work hard, finish strong, take those tests a couple times, because it can definitely mean a pretty good scholarship to take some of that out-of-state tuition down to a more affordable amount as well. So definitely keep that in mind. But just know you can't do everything at ASU, but you can really customize your experience there to kind of fit what you're looking to do and what you want that college experience to be like. So I will stop talking before we run out of time. So if you all have questions for me, please let me know.
Joe, is there anything that you want to add? Normally when I'm talking to high school students, and I know many of you guys are getting ready to be high school students, things they want to know about colleges are, you know, the fun things. How big is campus? How far is your walk? Some of those kinds of things. Are there other questions you guys have for Joe?
class schedules, do you choose them yourself or do they require you something like that?
So it's like a mix of both. Like you have options to choose from, and it's pretty like spread out. Like last semester and this semester, I didn't really have to wake up that early. I didn't have any late classes, so like yeah, it was nice. So like what if you get accepted and you decide to go at orientation, use your classes, and basically you look at the class you need, and the class it'll show like several class times for that class, and usually for most cases you'll have like easy like class times, like pretty much I'd say like earliest start would probably be like 8 a.m 8:30, which isn't bad because you have like a 5-minute walk to pretty much everywhere on campus. And then latest probably like 6 p.m. maybe, but you'll have like, for me, I had like gaps in between, so it really wasn't that big of an issue. Like I had enough time to eat in between classes, eat after classes. Like my schedule was really open, and I still had 16 credit hours, so it's not that intimidating.
Okay. Miss Ray has a question for you. I think I've unmuted her.
Okay, so I lived in Arizona for like a lot of my life, and my school partnered with ASU, and they would like come and do different things, and that really drew me to ASU. Do you guys still do that?
Like I don't know about like ASU representatives like going out to high schools, but I do remember like seeing a bunch of field trips or like middle schoolers or high schoolers come to ASU, and like my schedule this semester, like I had a routine, and part of my routine was eating in the union, and I would always see like high schoolers and middle schoolers in the union on field trips and all that. So like they definitely try to get the younger people out to like see ASU, but I'm not sure about like representatives going out to high schoolers or not.
Yeah, we in the admission office, I mean, there's a lot of different groups on campus that do different things. But from an admission standpoint, we definitely go to the high schools pretty regularly throughout the year to meet with seniors and juniors to make sure everything is getting done like it needs to get done, to help them through financial aid, all of that stuff. We want to make sure that our Arizona students, I mean, we have students from all 50 states and almost every county in the country, actually, which is really cool. But Arizona is obviously kind of like our main focus in many ways because we serve those students first and foremost. So we definitely try to be in the schools as much as possible to help all the students.
So I have a question, Joe. A lot of people in your class went to Washburn or KU or K-State, kind of stayed around here. When you talk to your friends that you graduated high school with, can you kind of compare your experience to theirs for everyone?
Yeah, it's actually pretty similar, like just like the social scene. I think like from like what I've heard from other people, like social scenes at like any university is about the same, but like I guess like what makes ASU different is that it's not in the Midwest, and it's pretty close to like it's not far from California and Mexico. So like I know like spring break in the Midwest would be harder to go to like the beach than it would be in the Southwest. So that's a big difference that I remember. And then also like curriculum is pretty similar too, so not big a difference there. I guess like something that stood out for me is that like the diversity of my friend group. Like I have friends from the West Coast and the East Coast, but like when I talk to my friends from Kansas, they like their friend group for this is from probably like St. Louis, Chicago, at like Kansas University or that. But yeah, it's pretty cool where all my friends are from.
Awesome.
Joe, can you tell me how you adjusted to the Arizona weather?
I don't really know if I have actually, but like it's not like blazing hot year round like some people think it is. It's probably it's like the simplest way I can put it is that summer basically lasts from April to May or April to September, and then when you get to like October, it starts to get into like the it's like it's not cold like in the Midwest, but it's like 80s. It's not like hot, so it's bearable. But I definitely like the weather there more.
Thanks. I was curious. I'm actually from, I grew up partially in Kansas City and partially in South Dakota. And now I live in the Southwest, and I don't think I'll ever go back to winter again. Yeah. Not true winter.
Yeah. I don't know.
The weather in Kansas right now is amazing. So.
Yeah. I found myself kind of missing the snow a little bit.
Yeah. Something else I think about for high school kids who are considering going out of state or, farther away than just an hour or two is just that missing your family, your parents, your siblings. How has that been for you? And have you traveled back for holidays and that homesick feeling?
Yeah, so I didn't really get homesick a whole lot. Like, I just missed, I miss my friends pretty bad sometimes. But it's really nice because, nowadays we have, FaceTime and, social media, all that. But, I kind of just came back to Kansas in October for our fall break, and then I came back in December. And then, I guess it's kind of different because this online class thing, I moved back early. So I wasn't away from home for too long, but a thing that helped me is if you get a good social life and you make a lot of friends and you have something to do other than just sit in your room most of the day, being homesick won't really be a problem if you have your mind set on something else, which is what I did. So that will help a lot.
Good. And it sounds like you've talked about different social opportunities that ASU does intentionally, probably to try to help with some of that. So
yeah.
And you lived in the dorm, is that right? Just living in the dorm probably makes that a little easier.
Oh yeah, the dorm life is pretty nice. I think it's hard to not make friends when you're all living within that close to each other. And going to the same, seeing a bunch of faces every day. It's just, they're just surrounded by people, so.
Yeah. Cool. I think Dr. Mack's probably gonna push us back into the big room here in just a second. But I wanna say thank you to Joe for talking to us and David Mills for attending also. I assume we'll share Mr. Mills' contact information with you all if you have questions or you need to contact him in the future. Miss Ray, if you're going to move back to Arizona, I think he's the guy you should probably stay in touch with. So anybody else have any final questions or want to say anything to end our time here?
How'd you deal with it financially wise, moving out of state?
So yeah, that is a kind of something to be concerned about. So I got a couple of small scholarships. Oh, I have 50 seconds. So small scholarships help. I did get a pretty nice scholarship from Arizona State based off my academics. And then I took out a small loan, and then I plan to work some more this summer to pay off some school stuff. So it's just a slow process that if you just work hard, you will eventually you'll be good in the long run.